Hidden History is brought to you by G2A.com and our supporters at Patreon. One of the most respected and elegant species in the entire Mass Effect universe, the Asari have been one of the most unique parts of the franchise since the very beginning. In a previous episode of Hidden History, we touched on how the Asari were initially inspired by the green alien girls of the original Star Trek. Over the course of the series though, the Asari took on a life of their own, developing their own unique culture that also pulls from many different sources. As any Mass Effect fan knows, the Asari are a monogender species, in that they're all female. This wasn't always going to be the case though. According to Matt Rhodes, one of the lead art directors behind the series, the team also flirted with the idea of creating a male Asari, saying there are no Asari males, but I think one of us concepted one of them once. But that drawing has been lost, thankfully, because it didn't look too great. So it looks like fans will never be able to see the concept art for a male Asari. But hey, at least we still have this picture of Parks and Recreation star Aziz Ansari as an Asari for you. Rhodes also had a lot to say about the spiny organic heads of the Asari, which he says were included for a very specific reason. All of these alien races had to have something threatening about them. None of them were just weak. They all had developed and fought, especially in the galactic sense. They'd all been living, working and fighting each other for so long. But at the same time, the team didn't want the Asari's spiny head to ruin their sleek, sophisticated look. We wanted something that at a glance looked modern and stylish, something that a woman may wear, and look a little bit futuristic, but not too far off. The word Asari also has some very interesting religious roots. That is because it's one of the many names of the ancient Egyptian god, Osiris, the god of life, death, resurrection and the afterlife. The meaning behind this connection is still debated among Mass Effect fans, but many believe that it's intended to reflect the story of Commander Shepard. When it comes to the Asari's actual religion though, the game's developers seem to have drawn from a very different source, the cult TV show Babylon 5. The beliefs of the Asari line up pretty well with those of the show's Minbari, as both religions believe that the universe itself is conscious, and each individual being is part of the greater conscious. In fact, the Minbari are pretty similar to the Asari in general, since both species are more culturally advanced than humans and other aliens. And they both value using the tools of diplomacy and cultural influence more than war. Some of the Asari character names throughout the series also have some pretty creative references hidden in them, like Nyxeris, Liara T'Soni's assistant, who eventually reveals herself to be an agent of the Shadow Broker. Her name is a combination of two sinister Greek figures, Nyx, a primordial goddess of the night, and Eris, the goddess of strife, chaos and discord. Matriarch Atheta, the Asari bartender in the Eternity Lounge on Aleu, gets a much kinder name, which comes from one of the many alternate names of the goddess of wisdom, Athena. Even the home planet of the Asari, Thessia, gets its name from Greek history. The planet is a reference to Thessaly, a region of Greece. Ancient Greek mythology is pretty obsessed with the place, since the plain of Thessaly, which lies between Mount Othrys and Mount Olympus, was supposed to have been the site of the battle between the Titans and the Olympians. But the connection to the Asari may come from the reputation of its women. Ancient Roman writers like the poet Ovid and the philosopher Seneca feared the women of Thessaly, claiming that many of them were deadly witches who drew power from the moon. Claims of the supernatural like this were probably not that uncommon at the time, but the idea of powerful women who were to be feared and respected definitely was, which may have been the reason why BioWare chose this as the name as the homeworld of the Asari. Now it's time for a great comment from Mr. Donny Dude, who tells us, here is a fact. The name of the race that created the Reapers, Leviathan, comes from the Old Testament. There, Leviathan was the name of an absolutely massive creature believed to be a primordial beast of the sea. Fitting, given the Leviathan in the game lives on an aquatic planet. The name may also relate to the book The Leviathan by Thomas Hobbes. There, the name is used to describe the strongest person around, who has absolute power to maintain societal order. Considering the Leviathan was first noticed for being a Reaper killer, I believe this also as an apt comparison. Thanks for that thoughtful comment. Now for our shoddy comment. After our Reapers episode discussed how the sound of the monsters was actually taken directly from the sound of an opening trash can, the Steel Metronet commented to say, in addition to the source of the Reapers' sounds, a trash can was where they found Mass Effect 3. Ouch. There's actually a lot of big fans of Mass Effect 3 here at the Shoddycast, but credit where credit is due, that hurt. By the way, hunting for comments was pretty hard this week. If you want to chime in and let us know some great Mass Effect hidden history we don't know, there's a good chance you'll get featured on a future episode of the show. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, it's time for our trivia. Last week we asked you to name Final Fantasy VII's Cloud's hometown, and the answer was D, Nibelheim. This week our question is, of course, all about Mass Effect. What Asari is known for founding the deadly mercenary organisation Eclipse? A. Rila. B. Jonah Cederis. C. Sally Sitwell. Or D. Avalis. Tell me your answer in the comment section below. And while you're down there, why don't you tell me your favourite Asari in the Mass Effect series? I don't really have one, but you tell me yours. I might agree. Anyway, I'll see you guys on another video. Peace off.